In orthopedic trauma, the olecranon and patella share a distinct mechanical vulnerability. They lie directly in the path of the body's most powerful extensor tendons. When the triceps or quadriceps muscle contracts, it generates a massive tensile load. This force pulls the proximal bone fragment away from the joint, widening the fracture gap along the posterior cortex. This continuous dynamic distraction actively opposes bone union. Because muscular pull persists through every movement, a simple static screw cannot hold the reduction. The continuous tensile load causes the screw to bend or surrounding bone to microfracture. When hardware cannot counteract the tendon's pull, fracture fragments continue to distract during movement. Tension band wiring approaches this problem by mathematically inverting the muscular force. This requires placing the hardware exclusively along the outer convex curve of the bone, the tension side. As the joint flexes, the wire pulls taut across that convex surface. This tension forces the opposite articular surfaces to pivot together, generating dynamic compression across the fracture gap. In this configuration, a stronger muscular contraction generates greater compression across the bone. The patient's own muscular contractions are converted into the force stabilizing the bone. This surgical architecture begins with K-wire placement. The wires must be driven deep down the central longitudinal axis of the bone, maintaining a perfectly parallel and centered alignment. K-wires provide no compression. They function strictly as structural rails to maintain alignment. But if these wires follow a divergent trajectory, the geometry fails. Under tension, the proximal bone fragment twists along the skew angle, losing contact with the distal segment. This results in uneven compression at the articular surface, introducing rotational instability and hardware toggle. An imprecise K-wire trajectory breaks the axial rails, leading to failure before tension is even applied. The distal anchor point of the construct is the transverse bone tunnel. The tunnel must be drilled at a precise 90-degree angle, low against the diaphysis within the thickest cortical bone. If placed too superficially, the mechanical tension of the wire can fracture through the thin layer of bone above it. A precise tunnel placement ensures that the tensile forces safely transfer from the wire into the skeleton without causing a blowout. The figure-of-8 wire is the primary tensioning component of the construct. This wire must be threaded deep beneath the extensor tendons to maintain flush contact with the bone cortex. Direct metal-to-bone contact ensures tension transfers into articular compression. But a common error occurs when the wire is placed superficially, trapping a layer of tendon and soft tissue between the metal and the bone. That trapped tissue acts as a biological shock absorber. As the joint flexes, the soft tissue compresses, absorbing the force rather than transferring it. This soft tissue interposition creates slack in the system, neutralizing the intended dynamic compression. The construct is activated by tightening the figure-of-8 wire. Tightening a knot on only one side causes the central cross of the wire to pull off-center, leaving a slack loop on the opposite side. This uneven tension pulls fragments together on one side while gapping the other. The two-twist technique prevents this. By tightening symmetrically, the central cross remains aligned, distributing compression evenly across the fracture line. Symmetrical tensioning eliminates slack and forces the hardware components to operate as a single unit. Balanced tensioning locks the fragments under load, engaging full stability. Visual inspection is not enough to confirm mechanical stability. The construct must be tested under dynamic load. The surgeon performs an intraoperative range of motion test, flexing and extending the joint through its full arc to ensure absolute stability. During flexion, the fracture gap must compress tighter, and the hardware must show no signs of migration. Real-time imaging is used during this motion to verify that the reduction holds securely. If the fracture opens during this test, the biomechanics have failed, and the construct requires revision. A construct must also successfully coexist with the patient's soft tissue. The wire ends are bent flush, buried, and directed away from the tendon gliding zones highlighted here in red. Prominent hardware leads to skin breakdown, chronic tendon irritation, and secondary operations for hardware removal. This specific biomechanical arrangement provides enough stability to allow for early, controlled joint mobilization rather than prolonged casting. By precisely managing these force vectors, surgeons achieve the clinical goal, restoring motion, strength, and function.
If you have enjoyed the video, like it, share it, And if you are new to our channel, subscribe it. Hit the bell icon to get notifications for all our upcoming videos. Join us to excel in this orthopedic implant industry and to know more about the job and career growth which is available in this industry. Thank you. See you again next week.